God. Every
Shoot,
single
about
thing
that
about
video,
having
huh?
a child sounds like the worst, and yet the amount that I want a child has not gone down.
Like, not at all. Like, it's
Not
literally...
like 0%, even though I still, like, every single thing just sounds terrible.
Yeah, every single day I'm like, wow, this is the worst decision I've ever made in my life. But also, I miss my kids, and I wish they would come back.
Yeah, like, I'm just like, man, I am so excited to do this horrible, horrible thing that I'm gonna hate every second of. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the time when that happens the most is the days when they are complete and total assholes and you hate them, and then you put them down to bed and it's like 8:04 and you're like, I should go wake my kids up. I fucking miss them. You're like, God damn it. Like, you just like want to throttle them all day, and then when they're finally gone, you're like, no, come back. I want to yell at you some more.
I miss you. I miss yelling at you.
I miss you being the worst.
Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about Dairy Queen, the place for all your eats and treats. I am Sam Allman.
I am Elias Sailor Dairy Queen. Warren, I forgot my own name. I fucked up my own joke. Wow, that was terrible.
And I'm Maddy.
Couldn't have gone better.
And I'm Maddy. Great deals on steak fingers. Wevin.
And today we'll be talking about the 6th part of Chrono Cross, covering everything up until the disc change. But before we get to all of that, how was everyone's week?
I don't know. I'm feeling real awkward right now with that like face plant of a joke.
Just so you know, those are always the best ones.
Oh, good. I'm glad to be unintentionally funny. My week's been okay. It's been less dramatic than other weeks recently.
Well, of course there would be less drama, because once a thing implodes, it can't implode again.
Right, exactly.
As we said.
I did have someone from that group reach out to me the other day, and like immediately my nerves shot through the roof. It went okay, but yeah, so we're just hoping to keep my distance from all of that.
Yeah.
The big thing that happened to me last week was my mom texted me, guess who's getting tested for COVID? And I'm just like, oh no. And so I called and talked to my parents, and mom had come down with something, and yeah, she went and got a COVID test. Her boss is a horrible bitch, who is also a Trump supporter and anti-masker, and probably thinks that COVID is a Chinese hoax because she's one of those people. But my mom was very insistent that she would not come back to work until she got the test results from her COVID test. And I'm very proud of her for that.
Good for her. Holy shit. Yeah, you fucking do that.
Like, this lady is she's been shitty to my mom since the beginning too. So I'm very, very proud of my mom for putting her foot down about that. And but she texted me today that she got the results back and it's negative. Now, there have been reports of false negatives with COVID. So
Did she get the nose one? Because the nose one is supposed to be pretty good.
I have no idea. I didn't ask her what type of test she got.
It's probably the nose one.
Yeah.
But I feel better knowing that she's probably okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, even for a woman who is 60, she's in relatively good health. So
Yeah.
I'm not too worried. But if you're listening, Mom, you're not. But if you are, I love you, and I'm thinking of you, and I hope you feel better soon.
Yeah.
Actually, quick question: what sector is your mom's work in?
She actually works for the state. She works at Wheeling, West Virginia Independence Hall, which is the original Capitol building back when Wheeling was a capital of Virginia. And it's essentially a small museum. It's a historical site, and she's basically the only person who works there aside from her boss and the facilities manager. And her boss has basically created a hostile work environment for her, which is just peachy. And I can say all this because nobody involved in that is ever going to listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like
my parents.
Well, it sounds like she sort of won this battle, but just so you know, I do want to go ahead and pitch this again for you and your mom, or for literally anybody listening to this. If anyone finds themselves in a similar situation, you should definitely check out the Emergency Workers Organizing Committee, which has the nice little acronym EWOC, which is cute. The Emergency Workers Organizing Committee is a broad organization that a lot of different organizations sort of came together to create, that connects workers, especially unorganized workers, with resources that they need to fight against their boss for workplace safety. It's workerorganizing.org. So whether or not EWOC could help your mom or anybody else would depend on the situation, of course. But I just gotta plug that EWOC is doing great work. They've been helping lots and lots of workers, especially unorganized workers, to do what they can, right? To do access to resources, access to like financial resources, legal resources, and just strategic resources to do whatever you can to fight in the workplace. So fuck all bosses, but especially fuck that boss. And anyway, check it out if you think that it might be helpful to you.
Thank you very much for that, Maddy. There's also like rules where like they have to take people's temperature as they're coming into the building, and my mom's boss told her not to do that.
There you go. EWOC can help with that.
Yeah, my mom was put into a position where she was like, I have to do this, but if I do it, then boss is going to get mad at me. And it's really shitty. And like, I've talked to my mom about, reporting the hostile work environment and that sort of thing. And, that retaliation is illegal. And her response is, just because it's illegal doesn't mean it won't happen. I'm like, yeah,
yep,
I know.
Yeah. Hit up EWOC.
Yeah, seriously, do it. It'd be really cool if they could help. Yeah.
Speaking of Ewoks, which are space creatures, what I have done this week is played and beaten all the way to completion 3 Metroid video games. I was listening to friends of the podcast, OG Plus Cast, and they're covering Metroid Prime. And as they were so they're covering Metroid Prime, and Melissa has recently beaten Super Metroid as her first ever Metroid game. And so they, of course, are comparing the two like backwards and forwards. It also helps that Metroid Prime is pretty much a remake of Super Metroid without it being an actual remake of Super Metroid.
Yeah.
And so them talking about it so much, I'm like, you know what? I've played several Metroidvanias, and all of the like things that they changed to not be sued by Konami or Nintendo make me not like it as much. And so I should just go and play the OG and do that. And the only one I had handy was Metroid Fusion. So I played Metroid Fusion, and I didn't like it that much. Bernard says that that's blasphemy, but
yeah, it's a terrible take. But I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, yeah. It was incredibly linear, and it added narrator as well as gave Samus dialogue. The narrator and the dialogue is very much the vibe she has in Other M, which I despised. So she's pining after a dude the whole time, and I did not like it whatsoever. I mean, I liked it a lot. I enjoyed the shit out of it, but I did not like the story of it. So it didn't hit the spot that I was wanting for Metroid. So I picked up Metroid Zero Mission, and that hit the spot perfectly. So when you finish Metroid Zero Mission, which is chronologically the first game because it's a remake of Metroid 1, you then need to go into the very next thing that happens, which is Metroid 2. So I played its remake, Samus Returns, which is phenomenal. The new final boss that they added is not that good, but the rest of the game was like, I had just finished talking with Maddy the night before about how I really liked Fusion and Zero Mission, but like you can't really make a fun boss in 2D because they kind of just are find the weak spot and dodge all of the bullets, and that's it. And then Samus Returns was like, hold my fucking beer. Here's some of the best goddamn boss fights in any 2D platforming shooter, period. And it was like amazing. And I then started Metroid Prime today. So I apparently have a type, and that type is Space Bounty Hunter. So yeah, love those games. They're all very good games.
Nice.
Yeah. What did I do this week? Well, I got my PS4 back, so I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14, which is always lovely. I'm currently at level 25 as far as the story quests. Like, I'm doing the story quests that are level 25. I'm level 41 at fishing, because I really like fishing. It's a fun time. You also gain experience points real fast as a fishing. It's a great game. I mean, I don't know what there's to say about it. I mean, there's already been so much said. It's wonderful. I love it. I'm being a little bit more responsible about it this time. It didn't take over my life like it did like 3 weeks ago, but I am playing it quite a bit, because it owns. Anyway, other than that, I don't know. Life is, I don't even know what I did this week. Life is normal. It is what it is. The government gave me $600 for no apparent reason. That's actually not true. It's not for no reason. You remember how Trump signed an executive order that is like extremely unconstitutional, but like definitely still a good thing to do, and like, I mean, like he did a good thing, even though he's bad. Well, the executive order was mostly horseshit, but it did like kind of make some money available to states if they can seize it. Which again, unconstitutional, but I already got my money, so good job. But anyway, California had to implement it somehow, and I guess they implemented it in some way that worked, where each worker or people who are already getting assistance, you can get $300 a week for up to 3 weeks, which I should say $900 is chicken shit for anybody who actually is like in a serious, like unemployed or in a serious bind due to COVID. Completely chicken shit. That's literally 1 month. That's literally how much I pay in rent each month, and that's it. But for me, who's in a pretty decent position, I got 600 of the 900. I think the other 300 is coming at some point, and it might go up to 1,500 later. I don't really get it, but I just noticed the charge pop up on my California welfare card. I noticed that there was 600 extra bucks on it, and I was like, oh shit. And it hasn't been publicized in the news or nothing, but yeah, I don't know. If you live in California, look into that, because apparently they're giving out a rather piddling, but still, non-trivial amount of bucks. So that made me real happy. And other than that, I just spent all week preparing for a major DSA convention and then participating in it. And now I've had a beer and I'm having a good time, and I'm ready to talk about Chrono Cross while I drink this delicious Butterfinger Blizzard that I have in my hand right now. Oh no! I accidentally turned the Blizzard upside down. Hey, it's fine. It's not coming out at all. Ooh, that was great. This is so delicious. I'm just gonna be munching on it the entire time. It's a perfect blend of crunchy and creamy and sweet and
The noise that definitely signifies that you're absolutely eating something.
Especially if that something is ice cream, the food you don't have to chew.
I'm chewing the little Butterfinger bits. As a reminder, this season, this entire season of RPG Book Club is in fact sponsored by Dairy Queen.
Unofficially sponsored by Dairy Queen.
Unofficially,
unofficially
so far, Eli. You gotta think big. You gotta believe.
I asked.
So let's listen to some boating music, and one of the two. I don't know which one yet, because I've already played one of them, and I don't remember which one it was. Yep. And then we will talk about the plot to this game. All right, so last week we killed 4 dragons and watched an opera. So this week we do 2 more and then kill ourselves. But so first up is the green dragon. I have no idea how I would have figured this out naturally. There might have been an NPC hint or something to lead me here, but I only knew where to go because the Let's Play that I use to write my notes did it before the Earth Dragon. So I saw it already. I literally have no idea what would have told me to go up to the fucking shrimpy skyway above the Hydra Marshes to refight Biba and get an ancient fruit and then fly to the Gaia's navel.
There's some obscure NPC hints. They're like, oh, you can't get there from the bottom. If only you could fly. And then at some other place, there's like, blah blah blah. There's a flying monster and the typical stuff. But it's pretty obscure.
Yeah, no idea how I would have known that.
I missed the Biba, the Justin Biba, who you have to talk to get up into the sky. Like I somehow just totally walked past them.
Well, the thing is, Bibas are also enemies.
Fucking circle around the Hydra Marshes. Yeah.
You probably assumed it was a bad guy and not a talk-toable NPC. I actually made that mistake as well. The Biba who gives you the thingy, not the fruit, but the aromatic fruit, the Biba who gives it to you explicitly says you can blow the whistle like in the next area. Like he literally says, hey, go east 1 screen. But despite him saying that, I made the same mistake as you. Was I kept walking and I walked right past it.
Yeah.
Then I felt like a goof.
So yeah, we play the flute, and instead of having to fight the dude this time, we get to fly, and we fly to Gaia's navel, to an untamed rainforest filled with a bunch of interesting creatures that have no one like them left on the entirety of the world, because there's none like them in El Nido, and there's none like them on the mainland that we saw in Chrono Trigger. It's a beautiful place. If only we didn't have to genocide all of them.
Yeah, it's explicitly like this is prehistoric island, right?
Yeah, it's like everything from prehistory survived this island, and we kill it anyways. So while we're there, we meet the Isla reference in this game. Didn't know how they were going to do it, and being in the future and all, but they found a way. And it's a feral child named Leah, who is the youngest character. Well, the youngest human character, but we'll get to that later. Mm-hmm. And she has Isla's impeccable run cycle. And for some reason, she fights, but in 3D. But she fights with an axe, even though fists are a weapon in this game. A lot of characters fight with fists, but Leah doesn't. She fights with an axe. She's super strong and super cool, and hasn't been in my party since, because Link's Fargo Earnest is just a really good party, and I can't stop using it. Won't stop.
I have actually had Liam. I named them Liam and decided that they are them now. I just decided that. But anyway, I've had them in my party ever since, except for the one time when I had to have 2 specific other characters. But yeah, they're real good. Big fan. Also, yellow. I haven't had a lot of yellow elemental in my party very much, and I did get rid of. I had to get rid of Kaiba. I mean Norris. Who was also yellow. So yeah, real good. Who else did I have here? I don't remember who else I had. Oh, right, I had Liam here, and then I also had the fucking tiny child baby girl not literally a tiny child baby,
Marcy.
Fucking Marcy, who I forget what I named her, but yeah. So this whole section was like I was babysitting 2 children. She's
Liam
also
sees
real
us.
good.
Yes, Liam sees us come from the sky, and they ask if we know their father because their grandmother says that father went to the sky, and we're like,
That's rough, buddy.
Who's gonna tell him about death?
Bring it to you. And she agrees to help us fight the green dragon, and it kind of is like phrased like they have a like rivalry, like they're just like, yeah, we've been like palling around and punching each other all the time, and you're like, oh, that's weird. Turns out she's not talking about the green dragon, as we'll see in a second, but it's still funny. And then the game doesn't do anything. It doesn't even like there's an obstacle you need to get past. There's not even a cutscene where they're like, oh, hey, this is an obstacle that we need to get past. Here's a hint to do it. It just lets you wander around in a dungeon. That dungeon happens to infinitely scroll in either direction. So if you're like me, who is trying to play fast, so you're dodging all the fights, you get real frustrated trying to figure out what the way forward. But it turns out it's a goddamn blood lock. You progress by exterminating each and every one of the endangered species that only exist on this land that's inaccessible to humankind, a bastion of rare indigenous life.
It's a little on the nose.
Yep. And in case you're wondering, having to do 2 blood locks where we commit genocide in a row is the text, not the subtext. We'll get to that in a second.
Although in our defense of last week's blood genocide, those were ghosts.
Yes.
we were doing double ghost death.
Yeah.
Yes.
we genocided already dead people. Jeez.
Yeah. Who are we, Lord English? Anywho, so once you make yourself okay with genocide, you can progress to the center of the island towards the green dragon.
I really was hoping for a pacifist run.
Yes.
I wanted to befriend all the monsters, but I'm too much of an Undertale boy. That's my problem.
Yeah. Eli, by the way, you should play Moon for the Switch.
Sure.
And we talk about it all the time, but Toby Fox made Undertale because he liked Moon. Anywho. On your way to the green dragon, you're blocked by none other than a Tyranno, which looks real dumb in this art style.
So dumb.
Like every Tyranno we faced in Chrono Trigger was cool, very awesome, A+. This one looks like the fucking T-Rex costume that everybody wears.
Oh yeah. One of my friends, she works for the Greenbrier Theater in West Virginia, and she actually, so every year they do this burlesque thing called Spanksgiving, and she actually did a sexy dance in that T-Rex costume. It's amazing. I showed it to one of my friends, and she goes, "Oh my god, I'm a scaly now."
Well, I don't want to become a scaly, so I won't be watching that video. If it's really that effective.
So you kick the Tyranno a lot, and it goes down. It only took a few more turns than a random mob, but actually the mobs in Gaia's Navel were all really, really hard. So it was basically on par with the current random mobs. But you got a star for it anyway, so it counts as a boss.
Hell yeah.
And
what does and does not count as a boss in this game really is something. And by that I mean what does and doesn't give you a star.
Yes. And that's it. Those are the only differences. There will be times where it's like you literally are fighting, like I think it was in Viper Manor, you fight like a guard, but it's a stronger guard than normal, and you get a star, and then there are random mobs in the next room, and you're like, why did he get a fucking star?
Yeah, well also sometimes it'll be like, here is a like it was a cutscene, like here's a cutscene leading up to this boss, but like, oh no, here's something standing in the middle of the room, you gotta fight it to get by, but like whatever, right? But like it's like you said, a guard but stronger, and it plays like normal music, it plays like the normal battle theme, and like maybe it is hard, but still like it's playing normal battle music, it's just a guard and it's unnamed, and then you beat it and it's like you got a star, and then in the next room it'll be like there's a cutscene and this character has a portrait and it plays boss battle music, and it's real dramatic, and then you beat it, and it's like, what, you wanted a star for that? What are you, a little bitch? It's like, all right, fine.
So, then once the Tyranno is gone, we walk up to fight the Green Dragon, which Liam has never, ever seen before. They're like, what the fuck is that thing? And it's like, wait, you said you were fighting the dragon. Was the Tyranno? Did you think that was the dragon? Are you what's-his-face from World of Warcraft? You think the dinosaurs are just dragons?
But dude, don't be mean to Liam. Liam is 4 years old.
It's true. But, yeah, the Green Dragon was real annoying, but not hard at all. I don't think he did a damaging move to me at all, except for Overgrowth, which he does on the first turn if you don't disrupt the green playing field. Other than that, he just spammed the ever-living shit out of status ailments. So he was real easy to take down, but real annoying because I kept fucking getting blinded, not being able to land a damn hit.
I found this fight very difficult. I believe it took me 2 or 3 tries. What?
Are you shitting me?
Yeah. Maybe just. Well, I didn't like die, but I did like run away from the fight because I felt like it was going badly, and I rejiggered my equipment. I maybe even done that twice. I don't know. Maybe it was my party comp, but the hits were hitting me good, and the status effects were really getting me, and instead of just ignoring them or healing, instead of just like powering through, I actually had to like, okay, I'm going to build my team in such a way that I can try and avoid these status effects and mitigate them. And I was having to field control, although I did get him into a loop where every fucking turn he was just doing like green field, like, or like the spell that turns the whole field green. He just wanted it to be. I think he was getting stuck in an AI loop where like his AI was saying you have to cast this really nasty spell, but in order to do that, you gotta turn the field green first. It wasn't a summon, but I think it was just like you want to get max power.
The move was Overgrowth. It's right. The second highest green spell.
Right, and I didn't want to get hit by that. So we were just in this fucking field battle for ages, which meant it was grueling because I wasn't getting in hits because I was just trying to keep the field from being green because I knew they were going to do that. And eventually I was just like, fuck it, just fucking hit me. Like, I don't actually remember what ended up happening, but eventually I did beat it. But I found it a rather grueling battle, actually. I think it took me 2 tries, but the first try I didn't like lose. I like aborted it partway through.
Okay.
Which happens a lot in this game. You start a battle and you're like, okay, my current composition is not going to work. Hold on, let's hold back the fuck up for a second.
Yeah. What happens almost all the time for me is because we've had several like required characters to kick off a side quest recently, and so I'll start the battle, and it's like, oh hey, Riddell has never been used. She has no equipment and no elements, and I have no idea how she plays. So let's run. Yep. See what the fuck we're working with and try it again.
I always use the auto allocate, but auto allocate's not really very good. So I use auto allocate, but then invariably when I get to the boss, I'm like, okay, time to back up and actually assign some elements.
Yeah.
I've done that a couple of times, yeah.
That's one thing that I love about this game is you are never put into a situation that's completely unwinnable. because you can always run from it and rejigger your elements. And because like you could
nice.
imagine, like say with Lynx, he's a black innate, so you could put all black spells on him, and then you go to face Garai or spoilers Dario, who absorb black, and you're like, well, fuck, everything I do is going to heal you. I'm going to just die and take the game over. You can run away and put on all white and then fucking slay him like that, and it's real easy and real cool.
Inconsistent though sometimes. Annoyingly in this part, you can back out of the fight and rejigger your elements, but you can't leave the area.
Yeah, you typically can't leave the area.
Yeah, which makes it sometimes where it's like, okay, well, I can't change my characters, and also like, what if theoretically I can't figure it out no matter how much I mess up my elements, you know what I mean? But yeah, but anyway, it's still good.
Yeah. It also helps that, much like Chrono, Surge is a fucking truck, and he probably could solo most of the fights in the game if he really wanted to. But yeah. So after the battle, Liam decides to come with us because we fight monsters like this all the time, and that sounds like a lot of fun. And that's it. So we hightail it back to the mainland, and then make our way to Sky Dragon Isle, and the Sky Dragon's there. He's the one, if you remember, that saved us from the Dead Sea because he was intrigued by what we were up to and how we were going to fuck up fate and shit. If you try to do him early, he's like, no, you got to go face my 5 brothers and sisters first, and then we'll get back to it. So if you have the other 5 dragons, he fights you with basically no fanfare. And he was really easy, especially because I went and did the Masamune side quest. And so I was dealing hecka damage. And I also absorbed his, not unicorn, but Holy Nova or whatever that Maddy warned me about. So he was real easy peasy. What about for you guys?
Yeah, he was super easy for me. I had 0 problems with the Green Dragon.
I also found this battle extremely difficult. Maybe I'm just bad at this game. I don't know.
I think you're bad at this game.
Or I'm just horrendously underleveled. I think I just always happen to go into a battle with the worst possible party /element /equipment comp, just like due to just me not just like bad luck. Because the game's got so many characters, right? Like it varies wildly what your current loadout could be. So I think I maybe just always happen to be in a bad spot. But yeah, no, it took me a couple tries. I spent quite a bit of time in menus. I ended up piecing out and going and doing like a supply run, making sure I got better equipment, crafted the best equipment. I went to Marbule to get all the trap elements, but it is wild how the trap elements, like the fact that you get the element isn't even as important as the fact that you stop them from casting it.
Yeah.
Because Ultra Nova is a fucking whammo attack.
Yeah.
I used the same party comp the entire week. I was using Surge, Fargo, and Zoa. Mm-hmm. And like that seems to be my dream team.
That seems like a good team. That seems like a really good team.
They're real good together, and I got a good mix of colors. And
I switch party after pretty much every boss, partly because I'm trying to be entertaining for my stream, but also partially for my own sense of fun. It's like this game has so many characters, I want to use them, so I'm constantly cycling them in and out, which is pretty part of why I'm having so much trouble. But I will say, I was going to mention this in more moments, but it'll only take a second, so I'll say it now. I loved this battle. I had to engage with this so much. Like I was thinking about field control. I was thinking about what element I was using a whole lot. Like the heal all spell is a white element, but the bad guy keeps trying to put white on the field to strengthen his white attacks. So it's like I really want to heal everybody, except the heal all spell is white, and that's going to put more white on the field. I know there's another
the green one.
Well, I know, but I only had some of each, right? And I guess I could have bought more of the green one, but I didn't know where to do that and didn't feel like looking for it. So
it's at Lisa's.
Is it at Lisa's? Okay, well, anyway, the point is I had a couple of them, but there was that going on, and then like other elements that I really like are white, and then of course your main character is black element, so. now that I think about it, I don't remember a whole lot about this battle because it's mostly been wiped out of my brain due to the next battle. But it was a really good time. It felt like a very epic struggle, and it makes sense because this is the last dragon. They force you to do this one last, so he's clearly balanced to be at the level that you would be here instead of whereas the previous 5 were all just whatever.
I followed your advice to go get a bunch of Ultranova traps. I got like 15 and I put 5 on each of my guys. Fucker didn't cast Ultranova once.
Damn.
Yeah.
That sucks.
That sucks.
Oh, I should have clarified. You only need 1. You just need to place it, right? Because it's there the whole game.
But I knew that they were consumable, and I tend to buy multiples of all elements anyway,
also,
just
they're so
to
cheap.
be on the safe side. Yeah. Did one, not a single fucking Ultranova, and it was dead in like, it got like 4 or 5 attacks in before I murdered it.
God damn.
Yeah, it was super easy. Yeah. I also, speaking about engaging with the mechanics, I don't remember what fight it was this week, but I also engaged with the mechanics like more than I did even with Garai, where I was like, because like you can change to anybody who has stamina at any time, even in the middle of a combo. But I normally will do 6 hits and an element on the last hit, and that basically turns it into a turn-based system where you just go in order. But one fight this week, I don't remember which one it was. I don't think I even needed it. I just like wanted to get Frog Prince off or something. I was like, all right, 2 hits from this guy, switch to this one to cast a blue element, and then switch back over to this guy, finish his combo. He casts a blue element, so Irenes will now be ready, and she can cast Frog Prince and stuff. It was super cool. But I don't remember which fight that was on. It probably was a random mob, but I did really start to dig into the possibilities of doing it, and it makes me wonder like what a speedrun of this game would be like, because like there's probably a lot of stuff you can do like that to min max on.
Well, and also the enemies are so easy to dodge that you can do a very very low level run of this game without much trouble.
Yeah,
because it's so easy to avoid battles and run from battles.
Yeah,
which is kind of what I'm doing, which is partially why I'm having so much trouble.
and on top of that, you don't have to worry about like, oh, can I get through this fight because of the star levels? And you're like, oh, I know because I've been through 30 boss fights that I'm going to have approximately X, Y, and Z stats, which by game design I can beat this with. And so you don't have to do a lot of the stuff like in Final Fantasy VII is the only one I've like dug into the meat of how it works, where you use a lot of like tricking the game with ATB weight to be like, okay, well, I'm going to pull this up so that I can get 3 attacks on like 3 frames worth of ATB because I cheated, and not those sorts of things. You don't really have to fuck your way through that. It's like, oh, it might be hard, but
one thing
you
that's
can just do it.
fundamentally weird about this game's system is that every time you consume 1 AP, both of your other characters gain an AP because time passes. So it's actually quite strange. Like you can fight a whole battle just using 2 characters because one guy you use it up, and then when he's done, you use the other guy. The elements throw a kink in that because elements use 7 instantly. But if you're just doing physical attacks, like every attack you do gives you like 2. Every AP you spin gives you 2 back, which is actually very strange. So by quick hopscotching, you can get your ranks back up. But if you have everyone use a lot of elements, then you can get in like AP deficit where like every single person is at 1. And if all 3 of your guys are at 1, it's really hard to get out of that hole without using defend because, well, you can't. The Masters doesn't work. And I got into that fight I got into that problem actually with the fight against Dario later. But anyway, the math is all quite interesting. I would love a version of this game that's like more boss battles, less mooks, and more consistent difficulty level. I would play the shit out of that.
Let's see. RPG Limit Break 2016 has a run of Chrono Cross that is has Spike Vegeta on the couch, and they beat it in 7 hours and 35 minutes or less.
That sounds really good. I want to watch that.
Yeah, it's Evil Ash 25 is the runner, and Spike Vegeta's on the couch, which means it's going to be a pleasant 7.5 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anywho, so we beat the Sky Dragon, and he tells us that we can pass through the pearly gates and cross dimensions, which is false. None of that is true, but he actually means to use the Dead Sea, because he talks about the Dead Sea in like metaphorical terms. He's like, oh, the Dead Sea has been broken and the things are worn thin, and that's your plot hint. He then says in non-flowery language, now you can cross the pearly gates. So if you're like me, you do the wrong thing and then look up where you're supposed to go. But as you may remember, Harley told us that not only do we have to get the 6 dragons to cross through the pearly gates, we have to get our body back, or the Dead Sea will just kick us out anyways.
We gotta get our body back. Sorry, I make that joke every single time.
We also heard from someone, and I really, I racked my brain. I cannot fucking remember who said that we had to take the Dragon Tier to Fort Dragonia to get our body back. I remember knowing this from a cutscene or an NPC. No idea who said it. Shout out in the comments if you're the one who said it.
Another world version of Goldove Priestess Lady, because if you recall, the Dragon Tier was stolen from them to begin with.
Because I hadn't done that at this point yet. I do that here in a second.
Earlier, that conversation happened in a plot cutscene.
That very first one? Maybe it was that long ago. I felt like it happened like 2 weeks ago, but who knows? Who fucking knows at all? I don't know anything. So, you also, by mentioning the Dragon Shaman, took the piss out of this joke I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyways because solidarity with Eli. Gotta
yes.
Stick with our jokes even when they don't land.
Face planting on jokes.
Yes.
Friends. I did it again. Real bad at this.
So let me start over, and I will cut this out, by which I means I will definitely not cut this out. So we also heard from someone, I really can't remember who said the Dragon Tier would be the key to getting our body back. If only we knew a Dragon Shaman somewhere. Turns out we do, but I had forgotten that was their fucking title. In Goldove, the leader is named the Dragon Shaman.
Her name is
I just
Diarrhea.
knew of them as like Chief.
I mean,
Daria, yes.
It's Diarrhea.
Diarrhea.
I can't help but pronounce it diarrhea.
Yes. So apparently she's the Dragon Shaman. I had forgot. She was just Chief Diarrhea in my brain. So we go there and we show her the broken piece of the Dragon Tier that we have, and she's like, what the fuck? How do you have that? Then it fades to black, and we presumably tell her everything that's happened in the game so far, because she then starts calling us Surge and agrees to give us the Dragon Emblem, which is like the seal of the Dragon Shaman of Goldove or some shit. And she beckons us to go show it to her homeworld counterpart. So a quick trip through the space gate later, and we show the emblem to the guards outside the Dragon Shaman building, and they let us in to see Stina, the other Dragon Shaman's apprentice. I'm saying Dragon Shaman a lot as a bit, by the way. The Dragon Shaman Diarrhea is dead in this universe, which is like revealed as a twist for some reason, but it doesn't fucking matter because we didn't have any attachment to her whatsoever.
What matters is that the extremely hot intern Sheena now gets to be the chief, which is like good for her. That's awesome.
Yeah, moving on up from intern to chief. But so we tell her that we've got the 6 dragon relics and we need to get our body back, and so she lends us the Dragon Tier and agrees to come with us to the fort, which, if you're like me, you forgot was where we were headed with all of this. Literally our main goal. Couldn't remember where we were supposed to go. But thankfully, Stino reminds us. So we make our way to Fort Dragonia, and we make our way up the elevator, but we're stopped by Surge in our body. Oh, I mean, Link's in our body, because he's not Surge in the body.
I should clarify. We're going to Homeworld version of Fort Dragonia.
Yes.
But the good news is we don't have to do the entire dungeon again, because since we have the Dragon Tier activates the entire dungeon. So all those 6 mini dungeons we had to do before, we don't have to do them. The Dragon Tier is just like, nope, you're good. And there's like no bad guys. Even if you wanted to go through the dungeon for for treasure, there's like almost 0 enemies as well. So it's a real nice chill time.
Yeah. But so we get stopped by Lynx in our body, and he says that he's not ready for us to get our form back. So we kick his ass. I had absolutely 0 trouble with him. I even forgot to equip the black plate to cheese the fight. But Eli and Maddy both seem to have some trouble. So what was he like for you guys?
So for me, he had dumps like a truck. He hit like a fucking truck. Like,
Yeah.
So I didn't put any of the plates on, first off, because I didn't think to. I have all of them because I have Fargo in my party, and I stole from each of the dragons like first thing when I attacked them, because I was like, if pillage doesn't go off, then I'll just run away and come back and get the plate. Turns out that the plates, when you wear them, they completely absorb all the damage from that color element and heal you, which is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
So at first I didn't have any of the plates on. His feral cats was hitting for like 200 on each of my characters. And that's the first one he does.
And that's not even his highest level one.
Yeah. Like his physical hits are kind of piddly. Like it's like getting paper cuts with lemon juice in them. It's really not that bad. His magic is fucking insane. And so like feral cats did around 200, and then like he does a volcano that does an insane amount of damage. And then if he gets to do I don't remember what it's called. Your Lynx has it. It's
like fucking like it's like erase all existence.
Oh,
or like
the
flavor text is like bring like it's like annihilate all of existence. I'm like, that's hilarious. That's something Lynx would do.
Yeah.
Yep.
That one just like it brought most of my characters into the red, and I think it killed Fargo at that point like a couple of times. And so I like after a couple of tries, what I had to do was I had to run away, and then when I started the fight the next time, I used Diminish. Like I let him do feral cats because I wanted to heal up Fargo because he was wearing the black plate. He had the least HP, so I was like, I might as well give it to him. So I let him do feral cats normally, and then I used Diminish, and then I just wailed on him. And that did the trick. And Diminish lasted a lot longer than I expected it to.
Yeah, Diminish is really, really good. I'd use that for the White Dragon as well. Like anytime the bad guys are hitting you really hard with magic, you're just like, pop a Diminish on that bitch. This battle I got completely owned, but then as Eli did, I ran away. I did a little runaway with me, and this is probably the most time I've spent contiguously in the menu at one time in the entire game so far. Because I was rigorously revamping my entire element grid. I was like making sure I was like, okay, every single character is gonna have heal all on level 5. That way I never have to wonder which character has heal. Oh no, the character who should be healing right now, they're at negative AP, whereas my character who doesn't have heal has positive AP. No, everybody has heal all level 5. Everybody has recover all level 4. Everybody has survive level 1. Everybody has a couple other ones at very specific levels. That way it was all equalized. And then I got into the specifics of who's got what. And I was like, I've got three weakens. I've got 3 strengthens. I've got a bunch of fucking diminishes. But it was still tough because, first of all, not only are all of Surge/Lynx, our main characters, really good moves black, but also Nostrums are black. And also a couple of other really good elements that I normally would rely on are black. And it's like, fuck, I gotta control that field. I cannot use that. So basically it was load my entire party up with super low level white spells. So like every person in my party had like on level 1 and 2 was just chicken shit photon rays, which the point isn't to do damage, the point is to always be able to hit one of those off at any moment, right? But anyway, what makes him tough is that he can cast not only the really strong white, but also the really strong yellow, red, and also the really strong green, I think. And the thing is, those spells, you have to be that color to use them. So he is cheating. Like that spell, you can't cast that if you're not red. So he's casting the really good red and the really good white and the really good green. And I'm like, fuck you, you fucking cheater. Anyway, it was a hell of a fight. But the funny thing is, after I spent ages in the menu getting my elements right, I did beat him on my first try after that. And it wasn't easy, but it was pretty smooth sailing. Like, I was just happened to be on my game, keeping track of things, and I managed to beat him. So I felt really good about that fight.
I think this was the fight I was talking about earlier, where I was engaging with mechanics, and that's probably why it was easy, is I was doing more of like, oh, I need so-and-so to revive. I'm not going to spend 14 stamina to get to their turn like I normally do. I'll just do one attack so they have one stamina, and then they'll just pop off a revive and stuff like that. I think this was the fight I did it, which is why it was pretty easy. But also, I have the Pendragon Sigil Mark C on Lynx, which makes his attacks do the damage of the most recently used element, and that and therefore they are buffed by the field color. So I let the field go black because Irenaeus's magic is so high that like even the lowest heal all spell on level 3 will heal everybody to full. So
Lynx would be doing black damage anyway.
Your attacks are not imbued with elemental damage.
Are.
They are not. That's what the item does. You might get a buff from it, but the damage that you do is not like you being innately black might be getting a damage boost because of it. Maddy, it's not. That's what the item does.
Didn't you say that it makes it be the most recently used attack, so that can make it other colors as well?
Yes, but also Lynx can punch the black dragon, and the black dragon absorbs black.
Maybe it
so
only
it's not
elements.
Innate. Anywho,
I'm confused.
Either way.
Understand.
Oh, sorry, this is unrelated, but I do need to share one really important point that I forgot to say earlier. Sorry, a friend of mine gave me this tip, and it's been so helpful, and I'm so sorry for not sharing it before. Status spells, put them at the lowest level they go. It doesn't affect anything.
Nice.
So don't think,
That's
cool.
I
should put the status spell on the higher level because it'll like last longer. No, it doesn't. Put that shit on level 1.
Nice.
Good to know.
Yeah, I should.
It's not. It doesn't affect accuracy or anything either.
Yep, I should have said that weeks ago, and I apologize.
Nice. I don't use them. They waste a turn that I could be hit a lot with, and I haven't needed it. It's not like this game doesn't rely on it like a Shin Megami Tensei does, so I haven't been using them much at all. Anywho, so yeah, I let it get black, and it made my Lynx hit like 500 damage on a 3 stamina hit. So
oh god, that's really sexy. I had no idea what that did, and so I've never used those. Probably because I'm an idiot, but it just didn't make sense when I read the description of what the thing was.
Yeah, but me and Maddy also probably don't know what it does because we just had a disagreement about it. So it could literally do anything at this point. But anywho, after the fight, we make our way to the top of the fort, and we go to the room with all the dragon statues, and we place the dragon tier on the altar. A shining light then teaches us about the theory of evolution through the mural on the wall, and it goes through like 4 steps of just the theory of evolution, no differences. But then when it gets to approximately 65 million BC, it talks about how the dragons, the lizards, and the reptiles were all about to rule forever until Lavos came and caused the Ice Age, and then the apes came in contact with Lavos, which evolved them into humans. And I'm like, sorry, we were there. There were humans before Lavos fell. And then the light is like, I'm speaking metaphorically because they were animals and part of nature before Lavos fell, but without their predator, they evolved, nay, transformed into capital H humans who, just like Lavos, began to devour the planet. And in the week where the smoke from the wildfires that are happening in Portland, Oregon have made its way to El Paso, Texas, this hits different. This hits way different in 2020.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, shit. You got me there. I was there like, no, we were humans before. It's like, yeah, now you're humanity, so you're a virus. Fuck you. And I really liked that scene.
Yeah, this whole game they've been toying with, like, man, humans sure stink, huh? And now they tie it in with Lavos, and they're like, no, like, humans don't just suck. Humans are doing the thing that Lavos does. Humans are doing endless growth and endless consumption. They're consuming the planet's energy for their own benefit, just like Lavos does. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I love it.
Yeah, it makes the, and this is my read on it right now. I don't know if it'll become the text later or say other stuff, but the part that makes people mad about this game is 20 years after you save humanity in Chrono Trigger, everything that you've worked for has gone to shit, and thus the plot of Chrono Cross. But it's like, no, you saved humanity. You saved Lavos Mark II. And so humanity is the reason it is. Poor got too big for their britches, and they came to invade Guardia. And all of these things are humanity being an asshole because we saved humanity, and we, in a way, shouldn't have done that, which is kind of really cool.
That's not a factually correct read, but it's a thematically correct read.
Yeah. So after the history lesson, the dancing light from the wall goes into the dragon's tier, and it kicks off a really cool FMV where we see Lynx staring into the dragon tier, then becoming the Nirvana baby, then becoming Surge again.
I was gonna say he looked just like the baby from Nevermind, or
yeah,
I have no idea.
You might say that the game was you might say that the world was like, you're Lynx now, but now it's being like, oh, never mind.
I thought you were going to say in utero.
So we see stupid, sexy, naked Surge, and then the dragon tier, thus used, shatters again. And so Surge takes the piece with him, and he goes out to see his friends. All of them. There's some lip service from, for me, it was Irenes. For the Let's Play, it was Stina. So it's party member number 3, who says that now that you have your body back, you'll be able to convince all your friends that you're not that evil dictator that's going around killing everyone, and it's fine to join up with you. And so what that means gameplay wise is now both of your parties are united, and you have some 40 fucking characters to only choose three from. But then, of course, since you don't have Kid right now, only one character can steal. So you really only have one spot to choose from 39 different characters for.
So you have Fargo and then someone else.
Yes. But Stina says that something amazing will happen if we bring both pieces of the dragon tier back together. But what she means is there is a quest that you can't actually do yet, so don't listen to her and just go change the disc.
She says to go to the Divine Dragon Falls. Where is that?
Yeah, so the Divine Dragon Falls is the waterfall next to the Hydra Marshes. If you do go there, she's like, holy shit, this is a shrine to put the two halves of the thing back, the dragon tier back together. So you go to do that and it doesn't work. And she's like, huh? Is there a hidden 7th dragon and 7th element? Is that what we need? And that's all it tells you.
Gotcha.
So she hypes it up so much that it feels like that's the next quest. And if it is a plot quest, it is not one that happens for a long time. It's when you get there, she talks about how it lets you make elements, like the element grid element. So it sounds like it's just late game level 5 hours.
Well,
but,
also this thing is called the Chrono Cross, so like probably important, but also who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, but no, we've achieved the goal we've been going for the last 3 weeks, which is get our body back, Get all the dragon relics. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah. So we drive our boat into the Dead Sea, and there are a whole bunch of fate distortions. When you run into one, the 6 dragon relics fly to the sky all cool like, and then it asks us to insert disc 2. Luna doesn't ask us to save, but it takes us to a world map, so we save when we get there. And so let's listen to that brand spanking new Sea of Eden track that we left off on, and then we'll talk about some of the cool ass side quests and content that we definitely missed. Okay, so some characters that we can get this time, which are actually, in fact, the last characters you can get in the game. You probably can go back. You probably could do Greco now. There's probably a couple that if you missed them before, you can get now that you have everybody back. But these are the last ones that unlock. So when we get to Goldov earlier for the plot thing, Orlha is fighting a whole bunch of poor officers, and she kicks their ass. And then we, being in the body of the de facto leader of the poor soldiers, and then also having the actual leader of the poor soldiers in our party, she thinks we're with them, so she fights us. We kick her face in, and she's like, "Oh, you must be Surge. Sorry, I don't trust you. Here's a keepsake of mine. Bring it to me when you get your body back, so I know you weren't a liar." Which logically should be backwards, where she's like, "I gave this to Surge, and now you give it to me in the face I don't recognize." But whatever, who gives a shit? You come back as Surge, and she joins your party.
Hell yeah!
And then the other one, god damn it, is a frog reference. Not Glenn. We already discussed Glenn. Glenn is the main capital F frog reference, but there's another one. So if you go to the burned out hermit's hideaway, there's a scorched piece of earth that the narrator, as you walk over it, pops up and says, "Nothing, it is too hot. Nothing will ever grow here ever again." So you use your ice breath key item and you cool it down. Then you go to the other world, which is not forward in time. So this bit doesn't even fucking make sense. But you go to the other world and you bring Poshul's dumb Searchy Poo looking ass, and you bring him, and then he plays as Toad in Super Mario Brothers 2. So he's really strong at pulling turnips out of the ground. And he pulls this turnip that's now there out of the ground, and it is a being with a turnip for a head named Turnip. Like when you met a dude with a frog head named Frog. He's dressed exactly like Frog. He has animations based on Frog, and he speaks in bad Shakespearean English, just like Frog. He is horrifying. He is dumb. I love him. I will never put him in my party. He creeps me out.
He's terrible. I adore him. Fuck that guy.
Yes. But being one day old and not a race of an ancient dragon egg that had been there for 1,000 years, I'm counting him as younger than Draggy. So he is the youngest character.
He's the youngest one. That counts.
Yeah. So it's dumb as shit. I fucking love it. The other important-ish side quest this week happens when you take Karsh to Viper Manor. Karsh finds a note from Salt and Pepper that are like, "Hey, we know what you did last summer. Just come to the Island of the Dead." So we do so, and we get up to Garai's tomb. And in this world, there are no flowers, just a bunch of gross poison water. Salt and Pepper say that they know that Karsh killed Daria with a moss immune. So we get a flashback to when they were kids, and it's super cute and not important. The only important thing is that Riddle says she's going to marry Dario, and Karsh is really not happy about it. So it flashes forward to their mass immune quest, and Karsh kills Dario with it. But if we take Riddle to the small little island on the northeast of the big island, we find Dario. He's alive, as it turns out, And it turns out that Karsh didn't kill him with a mass immune. Dario tried to kill Karsh with it, then begged Karsh to kill him before he hurt anyone. He somehow washed ashore here and has been living with amnesia for like 10 fucking years. Seeing Riddle and Karsh, however, wakes him from his funk and reawakens the mass immune inside of him. So he tries to kill us. So we fight him. He's real hard. Probably the second hardest fight in the game. The hardest one being the other side quest this week that I'm not talking about. But he has Pokemon Gen 1 AI where he will, without fail, counter a red spell with the blue spell that he has. But the blue spell that he has is Numble, which lowers your evade percentage and doesn't do any damage and doesn't affect your attacks whatsoever.
When we say counter, we don't mean as an extra action. It's like, no, he counters and that's his move. So he doesn't get to do whatever he was going to do. So, yeah.
So he never does any damage except for the first turn and will just cast Numble over and over again. So if you just keep spamming red moves. So you cheese the shit out of him.
I cheated the shit out of this battle.
Yeah, I did too.
It's actually still a little hard for reasons I won't go into, but yes.
Yeah. It was the thing that was hard for me is I almost ran out of red spells. I was on my last red attack spell.
And I started rationing them towards the end, like trying to stretch it, right? Like, okay, maybe I'll let him hit me like once or twice, and then I'll go back to rationing these red spells. It was actually quite difficult, even though I was cheesing him.
Yeah. So we defeat him, and the Mass Immune loses all traces of evil inside of it, and it chooses Surge as its new master, and it turns his Sea Swallow into his ultimate weapon, the Master Mune, which, because they do the joke Master Mune, you can tell that not Ted Woolsey, but fan of Ted Woolsey who translated this game, also said Mass Immune in their head, because this doesn't work as the Master Mune.
Hey, what's a Master Mune?
So much like Frog's Mass Immune, it has a super high crit rate, so even though it gives you a less attack buff, it is the highest damage dealing weapon that Surge gets in the game. His Rainbow Shell weapon is technically better, but stick with this one.
One interesting thing about this sword, I found out, if you're interested in doing New Game Plus, you can't take this sword with you, and the reason is that it's not a new item. Surge's Swallow transforms into the Master Mune.
Mm-hmm.
So since Surge's
at the beginning of the game, it's still the Sea Swallow.
Exactly. So if you're wanting to do New Game Plus, you're going to have to make sure you take the Rainbow Shell sword, because this transforms. It's not an item you can have on you. So
yeah, I didn't do the Master Mune quest. I'm gonna say it Mune forever. I'm gonna say it right. Damn it. I didn't do the Master Mune quest, but I have 2 Rainbow Shells, so hopefully. Oh, except. No, you know what? I couldn't unlock the rainbow stuff because when I took Zappa over to meet other Zappa, he was like, "I'm going to need a bigger hammer," and I'm like, "Well, that's not happening." Like, I don't know how to get that, so I don't care anymore.
You're like, that's too much of a side quest for me.
Don't swallow it forever, I guess.
I swing it in the morning.
But then the only reason I'm bringing it up, besides it, because we've already talked about the Mass Immune, we could have ignored it as being a Chrono Trigger reference. But no, in the dumbest, why even reference Chrono Trigger at all? You just made it weird and have a lot more questions moment. Masa, Mune, and Doreen have a funny scene where they all wake up and because they've been sleeping for the past 20 years, and they're like, "Oh shit, we probably killed a lot of people by being evil in our sleep, but no one will know if we don't tell." Tee hee 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 hee. And it's just like, well, now I hate the characters that I loved last game, Masamune and Doreen. These motherfuckers slept on the job and killed a lot of people.
Who among us has not had a dream in which we did horrible things in our dream? And you know what? Sometimes it turns out that the dream was real because of magic. Oops.
That's true. It happens all the time.
Literally all the time.
But yeah, so we see our homeboys. We don't see them. They're just a voiceover. But we see our homeboys, Masamune and Doreen, have a scene, and it's dumb. But Dario gets his memory back, and he vows to rebuild Viper Manor, which surprisingly he does. which is a cool little density modifier for this game. Like every star level you get, you can go back to Viper Manor, and he's rebuilt more of it. The first thing he rebuilds, which is really cute, is the playground. So like kids from Termina are outside playing, and if you talk to Dario, he's like, yeah, the first thing I rebuilt was the sandbox. It's like, oh, you big softy.
That's adorable.
But yeah, that side quest is pretty dumb. Once you get everybody back, there's a shitload of density content. I haven't done any of it yet, and the Let's Play didn't do any of it. They'll do it all on disc 2. So we'll get back to everything you can do right now, but you have a party of 40. You have both Nikki and Miki in your party if you're like me. There's a lot of shenanigans you can get up to at this point.
This time around, I did not do this stuff because I knew it wasn't a PNR. And also, because I had so much trouble with the bosses, it actually took me a surprising amount of time to get through this week. I'm looking forward to doing most of them, but yeah, I didn't do anything except for the Master Main quest this time around.
Yeah, me dosey. So with that, let's listen to the KCA Dragoons music because they were relevant, and we will make our way to the memorable moments section. Cool. So, I have a couple. Speaking of that last quest, when you're flashing back, there's a scene with all the kids, right? And Riddle brings like fucking flowers for everybody. It's real dumb. But Glenn is like, "What'd you bring me? Did you bring me churros?" And she's like, "What?" He's like, "I'll do anything for a Viper churro," or something like that. And it's fucking great. I'm like, "Oh hey, I'm in this game."
Hell yeah!
But I have an actual large amount this week, so someone else can go, and I will come back in later.
I gotta get mine ready. Sorry, Eli, you go. Yeah.
I don't really have any memorable moments because I think I skipped out on all the fun side quests that.
Yeah,
I have one that I can share while I'm pulling up my computer to get the other ones. The one I can share is that if you go, so like Sam was saying, in the other world, Sult and Papor are like, "Come to the Isle of the Damned," and then when you get there, they're like, "We know what you did," all that kind of stuff. If you go to the secret island in the other world, you go. It's the same thing. You go into this beautiful little forest, and you go to this little hut, and there's no Dario in there because if you recall, in this dimension, Dario is dead. I mean, fucking probably. In this dimension, he's probably dead. Yeah, it is. The storyline's slightly different, right? But anyway, in this dimension, he's dead, and you there's these guys in there, and they're literally just they're just no one. They're just NPCs. It's just their house. Oh no, there's like these military guys. There's these poor military guys who I guess are occupying this little place. Maybe they're doing like, I don't know, like I guess they don't have the Fourth Amendment in this world. Is it fourth? I don't fucking know. The no quartering of soldiers.
I don't know. I got the joke.
But anyway, they're talking and they're just like, yeah, great I forget what they say, but basically what they imply is that this soldier who's quartering there came with 2 other guys, and the person whose house it is like, yeah, this soldier is a lot better than those other guys. And basically they give the impression that the other 2 soldiers were really fucking annoying. And after a little bit of thought, you realize, oh, they're talking about Sultan before. That's funny. Also, since this little house is presumably the house where I guess it's like maybe Dario's fucking villa or something. Maybe that's how Sultan Kapoor found out about the backstory, was they were like investigating this house and found like a diary or something of Dario's. But I just love how some random NPC that we don't know is just like, God, those guys were so annoying, which is cute. Other thing I want to mention is, did I already forget the other thing I was going to mention? I just love the trope of actually it was Dario who tried to murder Karsh, but Karsh never told anybody because he had to defend his friend's honor. I love that. It's one of the best tropes that there is.
It's a pretty darn good one.
Like your dead friend did a bad thing, but you're keeping it secret. It's good. Especially because Sultan Kapoor were like, we know what you did, and he's like, I didn't do anything, but I can't explain what it is. I can't explain why, right? Let's see. The Please Insert Disc 2 screen, I really love it. It reminds me, it's kind of a weird reference, but it really reminded me of 2001: A Space Odyssey. Have either of y'all seen that?
No,
Yes.
but I know enough of the references.
This is a pretty obscure one, but anyway, I wouldn't know it myself if I hadn't seen it in the last year or two, but 2001: A Space Odyssey Act 2 goes into an intermission, because it's back when movies had intermissions. Actually, that's not true. Act 2 smash cuts into Act 3. The intermission's halfway through Act 3, which is a weird place to put an intermission. But anyway, Act 2 ends with them going to the monolith, and then on the moon, and then the monolith just starts emitting this high-pitched screech, and it's fucking loud. If you're watching it in a good theater, it'll be the loudest thing you've ever fucking heard. It's not pleasant, and the characters in the movie are like, holding their ears, it's so loud, and that scene doesn't resolve. It's just like, it's loud, it's screeching, everyone's in pain, and then it smash cuts to Act 3, which is like, years later or whatever. And this reminded me of that, because you go to the sea and this bright light shoots out, and it's a very piercing, screechy kind of sound effect. And while it does it, it just bam, and then it just freezes while the sound is still happening, while the geyser's coming out of the water, and it just freezes and says Disc 2. And I thought it was really hip. It was a really chic way to do that. It's not how you normally do a disc break. It wasn't really an act break. It's more like a, okay, let's fucking go, right, sort of break. And let's see. I have a few more things. I like how Diarrhea says that as long as we're human, people sometimes become lost. I thought that was a sweet line. Let's see. I don't get why I screenshotted that. Yeah, I know. Oh, right. Riddle, when you bring Riddle to meet Dario, she says, "This cannot be." Which I'm always going to think of that fucking line now, obviously. And finally, that final area where you fight Dario, again, I had a tough time with this battle too, because I did try it once before I decided to cheese it. And you can leave the battle, as usual, you can run away. But then I was like, well, what if I can just run away? What can I do? I don't know. And it's really funny because literally Dario's sitting there being consumed by darkness, and what's his name? Radius is sitting there, like in the middle of being about to fight him. They're in this like action pose, and you can just be like, all right, I'm going to run over here. You can just run to the right while they're just sitting there in middle of like, we're literally frozen in the middle of about to fight each other pose. And you're just like, well, bye. If you go to the door to the house, it just doesn't open. You just can't go in. And if you go to the right, which would be exiting the area, it's just literally, you just run all the way to the right side of the screen to where you're off. You're literally not even on the screen anymore. You're off the screen. And it just doesn't trigger the scene transition. So you can just run around, and there's no music or anything, though there are some nice forest sound effects. There's some so the point is, I was just chilling. I was like, all right, I live here now. I'm just vibing. There's some foreground trees, and I got my characters to try and hide behind the foreground trees so that you couldn't see them, like a fucking Looney Tune. Anyway, it was a nice chill time. Meanwhile, those two guys are just staring at each other, consumed by energy, and I'm just like, hey, this is a nice place. This is pretty cool. Maybe we could. What do you think the land value is like? Right? You think we could get some construction? Think we could get a little condo here? Maybe we'll get a little summer home. What do y'all think? What do you think, Liam? What do you think about this? What do you think? Riddle? Should we just hang out here? Is that good? Anyway, it was. I thought it was cute and a fun time. You can do weird stuff in this game because of stuff like that. That's it for me.
Yeah. So, another quote that I really like is with the green dragon. He's like, "Oh, you're trying to get the relics? Come here then." And so Link's like actually takes a step forward. And he goes, "Time for lunch," and then you fight him. It's just such a good action movie catchphrase. Then another one that I love is Fungai's last tech. He gets it because you go to his cave and he's like, oh shit, there's more Guardia mushrooms here. But he goes to try and eat it and they come alive. They're his fucking asexually generated spore children.
Oh my god.
And they're just like,
holy shit.
They're like, Dada, and you get his fucking last tech, and it's fucking weird, and I fucking love it.
Grandpa! I'm not Grandpa.
I'm not your grandpa.
But then my last one is a doozy. Dark Surge has a bad design. There, I said it. I don't like it at all.
He looks stupid as hell.
His portrait is like several levels of magnitude worse quality than every other portrait in the game. Like it is like if someone was on RM2Knet back in the day and they're like, hey, I made this face sprite for RPG Maker in MS Paint, it would look better than Dark Surge's face sprite.
Also, he looks like he looks like a wizard. He looks like he's wearing like a cowl. He looks like a dark wizard, even though he's not a wizard. He hits you with normal hits. Yeah, and I say that as someone who adores the character art in this game. I'm like, this is just bad. It's stupid.
Yeah,
he's trying to be cool. It's not working.
It's so bad that in the art book there is no official nor concept art of Dark Surge. So the Let's Play has been linking everybody's art from the art book at the bottom of each page. And for Dark Surge, the best he could do is he found somebody made a paper craft of his model.
That's hysterical.
And that was it. That's all he had for Dark Surge.
Even the people who made the game knew that it was bad.
Yeah. He looks like he's wearing Lynx's clothes, but not in the way that Lynx wears them, because Lynx has a very good character design, and he looks like super proper and military. He looks like a Full Metal goddamn alchemist. He looks so cool, and Surge looks like he's a kid pretending to wear that outfit. He looks frumpy. He looks dumb. Looks like he's wearing a windbreaker and a fucking wizard hat. He's bad, and I hate it. And I hope that the Dragon Tier swapped our bodies back instead of just gave me my body back, which feels like there's two Surges now. We'll see. Don't know. But I hope that I don't have to look at Dark Surge ever the fuck again.
Yeah.
But,
hate him.
Yeah. Anybody else have any other memorable moments before we wrap this up?
I'm good.
I'm Gucci to Gochi.
Cool. So that'll do it for the week. If you'd like a sweet and delicious treat, you should try your local Dairy Queen. And if you'd like to help us keep our lights on, you can visit us on our Ko-fi, where you can vote on the next game, which will, as we announced last time, will be either Breath of Fire 4 or Lunar the Silver Star.
Or Dairy Queen could sponsor us, and that would help us.
Keep the lights on.
Has Dairy Queen made a game? Because if they have, we should fucking play it.
We should play it.
That'd be amazing. I know there's a Cold Stone Creamery game.
No way.
Ooh.
But Cold Stone Creamery is definitely not sponsoring us.
Yeah,
no, they
we haven't talked about them at all.
They are the enemy. We are.
And
this is a pro Dairy Queen podcast and
Pro Dairy
anti
Queen
Cold Stone
podcast.
podcast.
So if you have the Cold Stone Creamery game, take it out back and shoot it.
Yes. And then after you're done shooting it, you should turn your gun in to the government because there should be no guns.
Yes, I agree. It's the last thing you're allowed to do with your gun before you hand it in.
Yes.
Y'all, there is a Dairy Queen game, and it's not what I expected.
Oh,
I
shit.
was expecting like a mascot platformer or something. Which, first of all, they don't have a mascot, but you're a Blizzard.
Just like a big old fucking Blizzard.
It's called DQ Tycoon.
Oh my god!
And it's exactly what it sounds like. I'm trying to look up if it's actually a Tycoon series game. I forget who publishes those games, so I don't actually know. But I do know that just like The Sims, just like SimCity, they got so popular that they made like a zillion games that were called Sim something. They were just kind of just cashing in on the popularity. So maybe it is a licensed cash-in Tycoon game, or they're just calling it DQ Tycoon. What's up, Eli?
What we need to do is also get KFC to sponsor us, and then we should play the KFC dating sim.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, listen, run your very own Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen. Be the manager of your very own Dairy Queen. DQ Tycoon serves up dilly bars, Blizzard treats, and all the very rest of your favorite DQ treats. Help Emily work her way up from an employee at local DQ treat store to the manager, the new DQ Grill and Chill. Apparently that was a thing at some point. Along the way, she'll need to make DQ cakes, dips, soft-serve cones, and serve up a juicy grill burger to satisfy customers. Blah-de-blah-de-blah, 35 levels. Maybe it is actually not a Tycoon game. It's just called that. It's not like you're actually managing a store. Anyway, this game is a lie because it implies that you could go from an employee to being a manager at any store.
Yes. Doesn't happen.
And they don't just hire a manager who was a manager at some other store.
Nope. But yeah, if you want to just talk with us, you can do so by finding links to all of our social medias at www.rpgbook.club, including our Discord, which is our favorite. It's where we are the most active. Come and hang out with us. Shout outs to our new friends, and welcome back to Cosmic Library. He had been off for a while, and he's back and hanging out with us. So shout outs. But yeah, where we are stopping next week, Maddy.
Oh, shit. I forgot to say that. Sorry. Where we're stopping, I believe I mentioned it last time, we're going to stop right before the boss. It's hard to say because it's hard to say something before something, right? But
yeah.
There's a dungeon called Terra Tower. It's essentially the game's final dungeon, though this game does that thing where it segregates its final boss from its final dungeon. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like in Zelda, where the final boss isn't in the final dungeon.
Yeah.
Anyway, when you get to save before the boss of Terra Tower. So you get all the way to the end of Terra Tower, and there's a big old boss. I won't spoil what it is. Save before you fight that boss, because we're going to do that boss and everything that happens after for our final week.
Perfect. Yeah, so for RPG Book Club, I've been Sam Hungerbuster Allman.
I've been Elias Oreo Blizzard Warren. I should have said Sailor Oreo Blizzard, but I forgot that I'm a sailor soldier.
And I'm Maddie Grace Alexandra Ice Cream Sandwich Weapon.
Peace out, friends.
Bye, everybody.
Clickhole is amazing, right?
Oh, I love Clickhole.
And one of their incredibly hit or miss segments that they do all the time are their misquotes section. So the best one they put out 3 years ago, as of 2 days ago, and it was like, no matter where I go, people will stop me on the street and ask if there's another one. Mike Myers on 9/11.
That's so good. What I love about those jokes is that the punchline is usually the thing that they're talking about is the punchline.
Yeah.